enrolled agents do, and is this actually a career worth considering? In my opinion, the enrolled agent credential is one of the most underrated career paths out there. For skilled EAs in private practice, there really isn't an income ceiling and you don't need a college degree to do it. Let's dig in. An enrolled agent, or EA, is a tax professional who is authorized to represent taxpayers before the IRS. And that word, represent, is really important because an EA is not just someone who prepares tax returns. An EA can step in when a taxpayer has an issue with the IRS. That can mean an audit, a tax notice, back taxes, a payment plan, a collection issue, an appeal, or another federal tax problem that makes a normal person think, I have absolutely no idea what to do next. In a lot of cases, they're helping the little guy, which can feel seriously rewarding. The IRS says enrolled agents have unlimited practice rights before the IRS, and that means they are generally unrestricted in which taxpayers they can represent, what types of tax matters they can handle, and which IRS offices they can represent clients before. So, for example, with a CPA, you may be limited by state restrictions. EAs, however, can work anywhere in the country. Regardless of where you are, if you become an EA, you could work with individuals, small business owners, self-employed clients, corporations, partnerships, estates, trusts, or other taxpayers who need tax help. And that's one reason this career can be so interesting. You're not locked into one narrow type of client. One day you might help a freelancer figure out estimated taxes. Another day you might help a small business owner clean up payroll tax issues. Another day you might work with a family that got an IRS notice and is panicking because they do not understand what it means. So yes, enrolled agents prepare taxes, but they also solve tax problems. A big part of an EA's work is tax preparation. During tax season, EAs may prepare individual returns, business returns, amended returns, and other tax filings. They review income documents, deductions, credits, business expenses, retirement contributions, investment income, and anything else that affects the taxpayer's return. But a good EA isn't just typing numbers into software. They're looking for accuracy, they're asking smart questions, they're helping clients avoid mistakes, and they're explaining what is happening in language everyone can understand, lingo-free, because most people don't want a tax lecture. They want to know what they owe, what they're getting back, and what they should do differently next time. But maybe you're wondering, what does IRS representation really look like? This is where the EA credential really stands out. If a client is being audited, has unpaid taxes, receives a scary IRS letter, or needs help with collections, an enrolled agent can communicate with the IRS on that client's behalf. They may gather documents, review prior returns, respond to notices, help set up payment arrangements, work through penalties, prepare appeal materials, or guide the client through the process step by step. And emotionally, this matters because people are rarely calm when they get an IRS notice. They may feel embarrassed. They may feel overwhelmed. They may have ignored the problem for months because they were too scared to open the email. An EA can bring structure to that chaos and give struggling people some peace of mind. And that's a huge part of the job, helping people move from panic to plan. Another task enrolled agents participate in this tax planning. This is different from tax preparation. Tax preparation looks backwards and it answers what happened last year and how do we report it correctly. Tax planning, on the other hand, looks forward. It asks, what can we do now to make tax season better? For individuals, that might mean adjusting withholding, planning retirement contributions, understanding self-employment tax, or preparing for a major life change like marriage, divorce, a home sale, or starting a business. And for businesses, it might mean timing expenses, choosing an entity structure, planning for estimated payments, managing deductions, or making sure the business is staying compliant throughout the year. That year-round relationship can be one of the best parts of being an EA. Now, what does a typical day look like? Well, it really just depends on the day. During tax season, usually January through April, an EA's schedule can be incredibly busy. They may spend the day reviewing client documents, preparing returns, answering questions, filing extensions, checking for missing forms, meeting with clients, and trying to keep everything moving before deadlines. And it can be intense, but it can also be rewarding because this is when clients often need the most help. Outside of tax season, the work typically shifts a bit and the intensity lowers substantially. Some EAs focus more on tax planning meetings, others work on IRS representation cases, some review business clients' year-to-date financials, help clients prepare for estimated tax deadlines, or take continuing education courses to stay current. And that brings us to another important point. Enrolled agents have to keep learning. To maintain the credential, EAs generally need continuing education, including ethics education. And that matters because tax laws change, IRS procedures change, and clients are depending on you to give them accurate guidance. So where do enrolled agents work? Honestly, there are a lot of options. Some EAs work at tax preparation firms or accounting firms alongside CPAs, bookkeepers, and other tax professionals. Some work in tax resolution firms where the focus is less on basic returns and more on helping clients with IRS problems. Some start their own practice, which can offer a lot of flexibility, but also requires business building skills. Some work with small businesses, family-owned companies, corporations, or remotely with clients across different locations, and that flexibility is a major reason people are drawn to the EA path. You can build a career around tax season. You can build a year-round advisory practice. You can specialize in IRS representation. You can focus on small businesses. You can work for a firm or eventually build something of your own. EAs basically get to choose their own adventure. Now, who is this career actually good for? An EA career may be a great fit if you like problem solving, details, research, and helping people understand complicated rules. You don't have to be the loudest, most gregarious person in the room, but you need to be reliable, ethical, and organized. And yes, you'll need some soft skills since a lot of your work involves working with clients. Plus, you need to really know your stuff so you can explain tax concepts in a way that doesn't make people feel small or stupid. That communication piece is huge because clients are not just paying for tax knowledge, they're paying for clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. And if they like you, bonus points. But how do you become an EA? Well, there are two main paths. Most people become enrolled agents by getting a PTIN, passing all 3 parts of the special enrollment examination, applying for enrollment, and passing the IRS suitability check. Certain former IRS employees may also qualify based on their experience. The EA exam has 3 parts: individuals, businesses, and representation, practices, and procedures. So the exam is incredibly tax focused, which makes sense. The EA credential itself is very tax focused, and that's one of the biggest differences between an EA and a CPA. A CPA is a broader accounting license. CPAs may work in audit, financial reporting, tax, consulting, corporate accounting, and more. An EA is specifically focused on federal tax and IRS representation. So if your goal is to become a tax expert, work with clients, and help people navigate IRS problems, the EA path may be a very practical and powerful option. At the end of the day, enrolled agents do way more than just prepare tax returns. They guide people through one of the most confusing and stressful parts of their financial lives. They help clients get compliant. They help businesses plan ahead. They stand between taxpayers and the IRS when things get complicated. And for the right person, that can be a really meaningful career. So tell me in the comments, would you be a good enrolled agent, and is it a path you're planning to pursue? And don't forget to subscribe for more exam updates, certification breakdowns, and career tips for future tax and accounting professionals. Take care.